All right, guys, we are going to talk about you have a weight loss range? What? So a lot of people really loved last Monday's show, episode 542 of the podcast. By the way, if you want access to all 542 episodes, bonus content, all that, you can become a podcast premium subscriber. Just go to halfsizeme.com/fan. Link will be in the show notes. But anyway, the episode that went out was about how to maintain a 100-pound loss. And a lot of community members were talking about this idea of, do we also have a weight loss range? Like, I hear Heather talk a lot about a maintenance range for, after you've lost all your weight. But do we also have a weight range when we're losing? And the answer is yes, you do. And I'm going to talk about how this information could be helpful for you while you're in your weight loss journey. So the difference between a maintenance range and a weight loss range is usually the maintenance range is defined by you. You're putting kind of, I like to call it man-made borders on where you want to stay. So if you say, okay, I want to stay between 150 and 160, you personally have created the range. And often I see people after a year or so of maintenance readjusting it because they start to see it through a different lens, actually having gone through the maintenance process, right? But you also have a range in weight loss. And where this can get really, really helpful is to understand how it works. So when you're losing weight and you see certain things showing up, you get that as a positive, you're seeing it as a positive marker of success, but it doesn't upset you as much when things start to go, when you see your new lowest weight pop up, you don't feel bad when it doesn't show up but once a month, and I'll talk about that. So I've actually been in a very small deficit since February. I'm down almost 5 pounds. I've been using my abundance weight loss approach, which I'm going to do an entire write-up on that later. But basically 5 pounds lost between the beginning of February and now. And what I did is I actually shared this in the community just as an example of a weight loss range. So in February, my numbers were, so you want to think about your range as being the lowest amount you weighed in 30 days, the highest amount you weighed in 30 days. And the difference between maintenance and losing, maintenance again defined by the person, the weight loss range is defined by your body. And you actually don't know it until you reflect on 30 days of data. So it's not like you're saying this month I want to weigh between these two numbers. It's like a reflection tool. Oh, I see it now. Here's my range for this month. Here was my range for the previous month. I'm seeing how my high numbers are coming down and my low numbers are coming down. So both numbers drop. Highest amount of weight per 30 days, lowest amount of weight per 30 days. Your range in theory, if you're in a losing phase, should both be going down. Now, in that 30 days, you may only see both of those numbers one time, but it doesn't matter. All the cumulative data in that 30 days is also dropping. So for example, let's just take a look at my numbers just to give you an idea. So my starting weight, 159.9, and then where I'm at today is 155, right? That's my average weight, starting average weight as of today. That's down 4.9 pounds in that time frame. But this is what the range looked like. So February, 158.8 to 163. So 163 was the highest I ever weighed in that month. 158.8 was the lowest I ever weighed in. March, 158.2, the new low. So it dropped by 0.6. And the new high, 160. Notice how both numbers dropped, the low end, high end. April, 155.8 to 159.8. So both high and low number range for that month dropped. May, 155.4, 158.6. Lowest number dropped, highest number dropped. And then June was 154.6 to 157.6. So that's how the range shows up. So you should be able to go back for 2, 3, 4 months of your data, whatever you got, and say, okay, in this 30-day cycle, what was my highest weight? What was my lowest weight? Where this information is hugely helpful, when you see the new low weight show up, get excited, say, okay, I'm definitely making progress. How do I know? That number never showed up last month. So that shows new progress. Where it can save you, it may only come up one time. you may have seen that number on a random Wednesday and it didn't pop back in, and then people get really upset about that. I don't understand. This new low number popped up. It was never going to stay there. Like if I were gambling my life savings, I'm going to say you might see it once or twice in a 30-day cycle. The fact it showed up means the entire range is shifting. What that also means, like if I were to look at May's numbers, 155.4 to 158.6, I might have had a lot more weigh-ins in the 158s, 157s, but then in June, when it was 154.6 to 157.6, maybe I'm hanging out more in the 156 to low 157s. The whole thing slides down. So, and most of the time for most people, their range, especially if they're losing, it's usually 3 to 5 pounds. But again, you don't know that till you look back with retrospect. Some of these months I had a much bigger spread than others. But here's how you think about it. If you're letting the scale on a daily basis or weekly, whenever you weigh in, wreak havoc on your mental state. First off, watch all my videos, Thinking Leads to Eating. Secondly, realize you're missing the big picture. You're never gonna see anything consistently. Your human body will not allow that. Your weight fluctuates 2 to 6 pounds every day without anything specific you have to even do. Just water retention, food volume, not going to the bathroom, working out, doing different things. So what you have to do is you have to look at this as a huge, big collection of data where you're saying, okay, when I see a new low number pop up, awesome. I look back at most of the digits from last month and I'm seeing that they end with a 7, but this month more of them are ending with a 6. That's progress. So if I'm looking at a client who's really struggling, she's in a very small calorie deficit, there's several factors I look at. One is their 30-day average going down. So where was this person 30 days ago with their average weight? Where are they today? If I see a 30-day decrease with average weight, perfect. Then I go back and I'll look at 30 days ago and I'll say, okay, what was the lowest thing that they ever weighed in at? What was their highest? I'll look at that same thing for the next month. But you understand how patience, data collection, not freaking out is hugely helpful here, because you're never going to have the data to reflect on if you're stopping and starting, quitting on yourself, all that kind of stuff. But if you get really if you're the kind of person when you see that new low number, and I know because I used to be that person too, and you make a big deal out of it when you can't get it to come back on the scale and you feel really slighted, don't. That's all you had to do. Think of it like, if I just hit that new low number once in this 30-day cycle, I'm doing great. Because almost every one of these months as I was going through it, I thought it was really interesting. It was only maybe 1 or 2 weigh-ins that I saw that new low number. But all the data during that 30 days generally was lower than the previous month. And that's sometimes the hard part to see, because keep in mind, when you're maintaining in a range, you're deciding the range, you're watching to make sure it doesn't go outside the range. When you're losing, it's always in reflection. It's always after the 30 days. And when you've accumulated a lot of data, but now you can take what you got and you can go back through and say, okay, let me check my range. Where was my highest in this month? Where is my lowest? Is my general average weight down for the last 30 days? How does it look for me? And that can give you a lot of comfort, because one, if you're not expecting to see your new low number but once, and you understand generally that these numbers are all coming down in a group, right? Picture it being like 2 dots on a number line. I'm doing integers with my kids right now. So picture from 0 to 5, right? And then you've got 2 dots and it blocked out. Now we shuffle it down and now we're going 2 to 7. You still have the same 5-pound spread, but you've literally physically moved the goalpost down the line, right? That's what this looks like. Never is it going to be you weigh X. Never. The human body makes that impossible. How does it make it impossible? It has systems you don't control. There's things that happen. no control over, okay? So and then the following month, you're shifting again, and maybe now you're going down to 4 to 9. So to pick up the 2 goalposts, move it down 5 more dots, right? It constantly is moving like that. All the numbers in between, 1 and 5, 2 and 7, those all change, obviously, because the goalposts are moving. So I hope that helps. And again, if you use Happy Scale or something similar where you're getting your weight averaged, you're starting to see, it'll even tell you your new low weigh-in for the month. One of the reasons they do that on things like that is because that is an indicator of you moving down the number line. So I hope this idea helps. I hope this all makes sense. Again, maintenance, proactive, you're choosing it. Sometimes you choose wrongly and it needs to be readjusted. Weight loss range is noticed in reflection and after the fact. So if you got a lot of data you're sitting on right now, you can go back through it and say, okay, I've been working on losing weight for the last 6 months. What is my range? What was my high and low number for each month? You can start to see a pattern emerge that might give you a lot more comfort as you're progressing forward and you think, oh no, I only see this new low number once and I feel super frustrated. You can kind of talk back to your lower brain and say, of course that's the case. That's what's been happening for the last 6 months. But it's actually a great sign. It indicates good things, but it doesn't mean that you have to stay there. I hope that helps. All right, you guys, please like and subscribe, share the video, and I will talk to you soon.